Hey guys, we're back, and yeah, I know you want the next part of the starters video. I'm glad you guys liked that series. It's been a ton of fun. I promise it's coming soon, but unfortunately I didn't have any time to work on it this week. I got a lot of commissions after my last Pokemon armor video, so the good news is I have a few new Pokemon armors to show you guys. As always, I'll copy and paste my Q&As from the previous videos right here for those of you who haven't watched the others. Oh, but check them out if you haven't already. I'll throw the links down in the description. Okay, Q&A. I work in a program called Procreate. It's an app for the iPad. It's super intuitive and very affordable. I highly recommend it to anyone just breaking into digital artwork. The models you see me drawing over are posed by me in an app called Art Pose. There's a male and female edition, and I recommend both for anyone who doesn't have 24/7 access to nude human models. I would also like to advise any artist not completely familiar with human anatomy to not trace over the models like I do in these videos. Without an internalized understanding about how the human body works, tracing characters will end up looking awkward and uninformed. Learn human anatomy from real humans, not from apps like Art Pose. They're good models, but not great for teaching anatomy. These pieces were all commissioned by individuals who contacted me through my Instagram. I'll link my page here. I take on about 5 to 7 commissions every 2 weeks or so, and it's often first come, first serve. If you'd like to commission a set for yourself, be sure to follow me on Instagram for updates on my availability and prices. And of course, if there are any other questions you guys have about specific designs in this video, drop them down in the comments and I'll try to get to them all. Here we go, 4 new Pokemon armor sets from my latest batch of commissions. I hope you all enjoy. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I was so happy with how this armor set came out, just right off the bat. And I knew I would be the moment this client commissioned it because I have been waiting for someone to do Deoxys for months. I love Deoxys, it's my favorite psychic type, and it might be my favorite legendary. Deoxys is a Pokemon design that was really ahead of its time, and it kind of set a new standard for how bizarre Pokemon can really be. Its blank, emotionless mask of a face with 2 piercing eyes staring out from dark sockets, it's so iconic and so creepy. The client who commissioned this piece had a few specific ideas for how they wanted it to look. Well, actually, they had a lot of specific ideas. First off, they wanted it to look like it was designed for a female body. They gave me pictures of the character Alita for reference. They also wanted 2 arms on one side, similar to General Grievous from Star Wars, and on the other side, the double helix shape that plays into Deoxys' theme of DNA. They wanted the pose to be levitating, with one arm foreshortened and facing the camera, while the other held a large energy sword. They also specified that it should lean more towards the design of Deoxys' attack form. So I guess the excess of weaponry made sense. After giving me the references for Alita and General Grievous, I thought that this design would be less like an armor set and more like a cyborg, a kind of suit that was partially worn and partially integrated with the wearer's body. Deoxys is already very humanoid, and the way the shapes of its body are laid out implies some sort of suit of armor already. I interpreted the gray parts of the Pokemon as a kind of wire mesh bodysuit that bridged the gap between the organic matter inside the suit and the technology encasing it. The frame of the gear overlapped itself at several points, and I wanted it to look almost unfinished, like it was some early prototype. I messed around with how I could turn the double helix arm into something interesting, and settled on a set of tubes winding over one another and feeding into a large cannon. That, combined with the sword the character was holding in their other hand, gave the whole look a very over-the-top sci-fi killer robot feel. Made sense for attack form. This client also paid for a 2-point turnaround of the design, and it was actually a little bit difficult to get all of the details of the armor out in one place, but I was happy with how these came out as well. Though I hope the client wasn't planning on cosplaying it, because I can't imagine how they'd be able to accomplish it with the design that I came up with. Moving on to the second piece, I was commissioned by someone to do an armor set based off of Keldeo. The client was giving it to their boyfriend as a gift, but planned on cosplaying it themselves, so they asked that the design be of a female character. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Keldeo. It's kind of cute, but I don't like its colors. Of course, the idea behind its character is intriguing, and I really couldn't pass up the opportunity to have it look like one of the Three Musketeers. Or rather, the Fourth Musketeer. The client also asked that I take some inspiration from Monster Hunter, and said that their boyfriend was a big fan of the games. Now, of course, after they said that, I immediately thought of the Kirin, and I included the armors of that monster as part of my reference. In the end, though, I leaned more into the French Musketeer aesthetic. There was a split second where I considered giving the armor a horn on the helmet, but there was no way I could do that without making it look silly. I think that's why the Kirin armors just kind of have an entire horse head as the helmet. Instead, I gave her a hat with 3 feather plumes, like Keldeo has in its Resolute form. I also incorporated the character's hair as a part of the design to replicate the Pokemon's mane. The rest of the armor was pretty musketeer-y, but I tried to recreate the horn a little bit in the rapier that I gave it as a weapon. This piece was also a 2-point turnaround commission, but it was much easier to do compared to the Deoxys one. Armor number 3 was another one that I was excited for the moment the client commissioned it. I feel like Flygon gets overlooked a lot because it's a fairly weak Pokemon when it comes to stats, but damn did I love it as a kid. Its whole evolutionary line is so creative, I love them so much. The person who commissioned this set had a really cool idea for the inspiration they wanted me to take with this armor design. They requested that the look be inspired by, to put it in their words, an old-timey pilot. I immediately thought of a World War II era fighter pilot, and the goggles kinda just fell right into place. I knew that I had to incorporate the diamond shape of Flygon's wings as well, and I figured a cute little scarf was a clever way to bring them in. After that, the colors didn't matter so much. With the green and red diamond scarf and the red goggles, it read as Flygon pretty clearly. I also gave the character some spikes of green hair to replicate the shape of Flygon's head, and a long, encased braid of hair to represent the tail. I realized this made the silhouette look a lot like Jinx from League of Legends, but I liked it, so I kinda just said f it and left it as it was. She already looked like Tracer too, with all the pilot influence and the bomber jacket and the saluting pose. All that aside though, I was happy with this Flygon. She's very different from my other Pokemon armors, and I like that. I'm always looking for new ways to shake up these designs. The last armor of this batch was of Honchkrow. Now, I've already done 2 different Murkrow armor designs, so at first I was a little stumped in regard to how I was going to make this different. But the client who commissioned it helped me out by requesting that it have a steampunk mafia feel to it. Those words got me excited, so I dug around for some pictures of Al Capone and Tommy guns. Not wanting this design to look too cliche, I decided that I wanted this mob boss to be female. I like the idea of Honchkrow being not just a mafia boss, but also a witch coven matriarch. Mafia witch. With a robot arm. You know, it really doesn't get much cooler than that. I kinda just had fun with this one, mixing steampunk with witchcraft and a bit of organized crime. I almost want to turn this premise into its own thing. I really like this character standalone from it being a Pokemon armor set. So that was the most recent batch of commissions. Though I suppose you could argue that none of them were really armor. More like outfits. I don't know. Which one was your favorite? Mine was Deoxys, hands down, but this was a rare occasion where I liked every single design I did. That always feels good when that happens. Anyway, let me know what your favorite was down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave me a like and subscribe for more. We're going to be diving into Mermay in the next video, so get ready for that. I'm very excited. Anyway, stay safe, stay inside, and I'll see you all in the next video.